we have set standards here that are set out by Bord Bia that we have to comply with, and that's welfare standards, environmental standards, and the retail customers have their standards as well. And any chicken produced in Ireland has to meet those standards.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Poultry Edge for 2026 with me, Rebecca Tierney. We're focusing on all the latest news, information and advice for Irish poultry producers. In this episode we will take a look at the Irish broiler sector. I'm delighted to be joined by Diarmaid Kirby, Agricultural Manager at Western Brand. Western Brand is one of the larger chicken producers here in Ireland. Thank you for joining us, Diarmaid. Would you give us an overview of broiler production here in Ireland? How many birds are being produced in Ireland each year? And are we seeing an increase in consumption year on year?
Yeah, so we produce about 2.2 to 2.3 billion birds a week, which would equate to 115 million birds per year. Consumption in Ireland is quite high. Currently, we're at about 49 kilos per person, and that's up from 26 kilos in 2014. So in 10 years, it's not far off doubled. And we would envisage that to continue.
Good to see some increase in poultry meat, and it seems to be continuing year on year. So would you just go through the production cycle for broilers from grandparents' stock to the chicken being on our shop shelves, on the menu in our restaurants, and the renowned chicken fillet roll from our student days?
Grandparent stock are held in Ireland by Moy Park for the commercial birds and Hubbard in France for free-range birds. So from their grandparent stock, they produce parent stock, which is what the poultry companies in Ireland buy. Those parent stock produce eggs, and those eggs go to our hatchery. We hatch them. Takes approximately 21 days to hatch the egg. They go on to the broiler farm. 5 weeks after that, the birds go to the processing plant and are processed, sold as whole bird or portions or breaded fillet for the chicken roll. So we would see per parent about 147 chicks. So 1 million chicks a week would require 350,000 breeders to be placed over the course of a year. It's quite a quick process once we have the egg, as I say, from egg to supermarket shelf. No more than 8 weeks.
Very quick turnaround, so immensely efficient in terms of the production cycle. I suppose the broiler chicken is exceptionally efficient. What factors are influencing that, and how can a farmer ensure the targets are being achieved on farm?
Yeah, so how well the bird performs starts first with the chick itself. So good quality chick, well hatched. An A grade, nice and lively when it gets placed on the farm. Then obviously the feed that goes into the bird is going to have a major impact on how that bird performs itself. And the farmer probably has the single biggest impact, the attention to detail that he pays, making sure the temperatures in the house are correct, that the bird has access to feed and water all the time, and that the feed is well presented to the bird. The water is clean. Water accounts for the vast majority of the input into the bird. So every ton of food, there's 2 tons of water consumed. So it's very important to get that right. So time spent in the shed and attention to detail would be the biggest issues that affect economic performance.
Okay, perfect. And if we just go back to, I suppose, in terms of exports and imports of chicken product, what products do we see being exported predominantly? And then as a result, are we importing chicken to make up for that export market?
Yeah, so we would export mainly the back end. So here in Ireland, fillet is by far the chosen part of the bird. We're selling more thighs now than we would have done previously, but fillet is still the main part that's consumed in Ireland. So we would only really export the back end, legs and drumsticks, and then the imports would account for would all be mainly fillet. So and in imports, as I say, we're producing 115 million birds a year, but we're probably consuming over 170 million. So There's a lot of chicken being imported, and that would be for markets, some butchers, uh, pubs, restaurants, hospitals, that side of it. The homegrown chicken is mainly going into the retailers.
Yeah, so we can see that on our shop shelves through the Bord Bia logo, and even the faces and names of some of our farmers on some packets, and even the Western brand name to be seen on some of those as well. So important for consumers to look out for that Irish Bord Bia logo when purchasing.
Oh, it is, because the imported product, you can't be 100% sure where it actually comes from, because it can come into Europe, it can have brine water added to it, and all of a sudden it becomes a European product. So, but it could have originated in Brazil or Thailand or wherever. We have set standards here that are set out by Bord Bia that we have to comply with, and that's welfare standards, environmental standards, and the retail customers have their standards as well. And any chicken produced in Ireland has to meet those standards. And there is a cost associated with that. So it's difficult to compete with imports that may not have the same standards as we have. But in fairness to the retailers here in Ireland, the fresh chicken is all Irish produced, and people can eat that comfortable in the knowledge that the bird is being looked after, the welfare of the bird is being looked after, and there is work going on for the environmental impact of growing those to reduce that as time goes on.
Certainly a big focus needs to be pushed on that Irish Bord Bia logo, and we do see Bord Bia doing that. When we mention the export, Mercosur has been something that has been in the headlines for the last number of weeks, and it's on the minds of all farmers. We've seen the protest at the last weekend. What is the potential impact of Mercosur for Irish broiler production?
I don't really see it being a huge issue within Irish broiler production, because the supermarkets are very much tied up with, or the retailers very much tied up with Bord Bia, with quality assurance schemes, and with buying Irish. So with regard to the imports that are coming in, they're still going to come in, but some of those may come from through the Mercosur deal, but I don't really see a huge change in the amount of imports coming in compared to what's being produced in Ireland. There's a market for both.
Again, it's positive that we have the likes of our Bord Bia logo there. What is the main challenges facing broiler production here in Ireland? We still obviously have our housing order in place, but how is this impacting production and your day-to-day business in terms of farm management and movement of birds and things?
Yeah, the housing order hasn't really affected our day-to-day business. We're still placing the birds on the farms. They just don't have access to the outside for free range, but they still have everything else that makes them free range. A degree of corn and wheat in the rations, that the bird is alive for much longer. It's much lower stocking density. The only difference is it can't go outside. Within our business itself, we reduce the amount of visits we have, which does make it a little more difficult, but we are in a period of increased biosecurity because of the avian influenza. But we're managing quite well. It's not causing us any huge issues. I suppose the challenges for the industry going forward will be getting young people into the business, and the cost of housing, and the difficulty getting planning permission in places for housing. As we expand, we need more houses all the time, and ideally we'd like young people to get into the business, uh, and that's probably our biggest challenge is how to get those people in, and for those people when they come in, how to get planning and how to speed up the whole planning access, because we're going to need more housing year on year on year, and that is probably the main challenge we face, is getting people in for new breeder farms and new broiler farms.
To finish on a positive then, Diarmaid, with challenges there obviously comes opportunities. The broiler sector is clearly expanding, and there clearly is an opportunity for those younger people or existing producers maybe to expand, I suppose, our Western brand in that period of expansion, and is the whole broiler sector, I suppose, looking out for more birds on the ground?
Oh, most definitely. We, along with the other two broiler processors based here in the Republic, are increasing. We are looking for more housing. We are looking for broiler housing. We're looking for breeder housing, and consumption of chicken is going up. You know, even if it wasn't going up on a per capita basis, the population is growing. So just to stay still, we'll need more birds anyway. But we do still see and expect an increase in consumption per capita, especially looking at the cost of beef will help with poultry sales. Pork, we don't have the religious connotations for some groups of people, so chicken really is going to continue. We're at a stage now where 50% of a person's meat intake over the course of their life or each year is poultry, and we don't see that slowing down, to be honest.
It's excellent to see for a very efficient sector that is continuing to push on. And I suppose not just for people to build houses and be in the industry, there's also work opportunities and great job opportunities, as I know myself. And I suppose just for anyone maybe listening that isn't from a poultry background, don't let that hinder you becoming part of this wonderful industry.
Absolutely. It's the poultry industry is growing year on year. There's always job opportunities in it, and there's careers in it. You start off and you can make a full career out of the poultry industry. It's an industry that, in hard times and during recession, still performs well because people still need to eat. So it's an industry that is sheltered from certain aspects of economic performance within the country. The poultry industry and food sector in general will continue to do well. And as processors, when these things happen, we actually can do better because people will eat more at home as opposed to eating out. And if they're eating at home, it's generally Irish chicken they're eating, which may not be the case when they eat outside the home itself. So it's a good industry to be in.
Diarmaid, thank you so much for your time today and for giving us a quick update on the broiler sector. Very positive outlook there for Irish chicken. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
That's all for today's podcast. Remember to always buy Irish and look out for the Bord Bia logo when shopping. Just a reminder that the housing order still remains in place as we continue to see cases of bird flu in the wild bird population. Happy New Year to all our Poultry Edge listeners, and don't forget to rate, review and follow the Poultry Edge wherever you get your podcasts.